Let's get the view straight away then from Irris Makler, who is covering developments for us from Jerusalem today. Irris, give us a sense of the Israeli perspective on all of this. We heard Rawad talking about those strikes on the south of Lebanon. There has been a statement this afternoon from the Israeli army a relatively short while ago. Give us a sense of what you're hearing.
That's right. There has not been a direct response. No one sat down, no one from official Israel sat down and said, Nasrallah says this and we say that. But what we have seen is words and actions targeting the Northern Front, targeting Hassan Nasrallah. So we have seen a statement from Israel's military chief of staff saying he's approved a military action in the north. Now, what that means, what its scope is it a ground offensive? We don't know. You can see that it's a kind of both sides speaking to each other, or rather at each other, perhaps not to each other. So there is the statement, which echoes what he has said before this week. In fact, there's been a turn this week where now Israel says it's no longer just going to defend itself against the attacks from Hezbollah in the north. It's going on the offensive. And I think that's what you saw with those attacks, with the pages, with all the communications means this yesterday and the day before in Beirut. So we're seeing those kind of comments. We're seeing those low-flying planes during Nasrallah's speech, each side saying to the other, it doesn't matter what position you take, we are sticking fast to our position, with Israel having the extra segment where it is also saying it's going on the offensive now. And what exactly that means, I can't tell you because they have not been specific, but Israel is moving divisions up from Gaza. They were fighting in Gaza. They were in the West Bank. They're now being moved to the north of Israel. And the Israeli military is making it sure that the public knows that, and that the international community knows that, and that Hassan Nasrallah knows that.
And Irris, over the past couple of days when I've been talking to Rawad in Beirut, we've got a sense from him that there is really significant fear in Lebanon that what we're seeing could move into a kind of all-out conflict between Hezbollah and Israel. I imagine people where you are pretty worried about that as well.
That's right. It's very interesting how the public have parallel fears. I think the people of Israel want some 65,000 Israelis who've been displaced from the north of Israel to return to their homes. But whether they really want a full all-out war and all that would mean is not clear. So how Israel achieves a return of civilians to their homes, so many fires, so much destruction there. Nevertheless, they want to go home, but it's not safe. Can Israel achieve that with anything other than a war? So there's all these discussions about, spearheaded by the United States, about reaching some kind of deal with Hezbollah, with Lebanon. That seems to be being put on the back burner, although I know there are very many military people in Israel who think that would be a better way to go. Certainly at this point in time, after such a long fight in the south, there are also people who advocate, including inside the military, reaching a deal, ending the war in Gaza, in effect, reaching some deal with Gaza and then turning north so that Israel's not fighting on two fronts. So there's all these military considerations. And nevertheless, when it's actually explained to ordinary Israeli civilians, the massive firepower, the potential that the weapons that Hezbollah has, how far into Israel they could reach, the damage they could do, the thousands of people, if not tens of thousands, on both sides who would lose their lives. When that's explained, then people here are very fearful.